Dun, 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 dun. Hey, everybody, how we doing today? My name is True Powers Mine, and this is TPIM. That's our live, the People Show. Yes, friends, I want to thank you all. Today's date, January 2nd, 2020, the year of our Lord, the state of hate. You know, as we continue down the road of truth, sincerity, and honesty, balance 4440, peace and power. Brother sent me this piece I'm going to share with you all. Oh, Jesus. Give me the strength. Give me the strength to endure, which must be one of the most unhappiest podcasts, presentations that I've ever done. But before we get started, Brother Frederick, welcome to the show. Kay Davis, peace and power. I want to show you what my daughter sewed for me. I think it's beautiful. I mean, it's not really my color, but she sewed that by hand for me. I think it's kind of neat. You know, children actually doing old school stuff. So, kind of what she had to work with. Very talented children. Um, that's about the only thing joyful I can show you. Sister Janice, hopefully you're buckled up, sister. Peace and power. Welcome to the show. All right, without further ado, let's do our breakdown.
The United States was, from the very beginning, dedicated the idea of racial equality. Yes, they say there was slavery and segregation, but we were always working to fulfill the promise of all men are created equal.
No, this is just too much. It's all okay. Hold on. This is crazy. Wiley Cooper, welcome to the show. Peace and power. Now, the reason why we got Bernie Sanders up here on the dollar bill is for all you who know, the only role that Bernie is serving is siphoning off dollars that Andrew Lang could actually get. And you'll have more of a cohesion. You'll have more of a, I guess, a chance to win this thing. But, no one's trying to have the first Asian president, huh? Because let's just continue.
People know that in 1776, there were black slaves in all 13 colonies and in the entire New World, from Canada to the tip of South America. In 1770, 40% of the white households in Manhattan owned slaves, and there were more slaves in the colony of New York than in Georgia. 9 of the first 11 presidents were slaveholders.
Now, I know some people are getting triggered right about now. They're like, True, what the I know you are. But these uncomfortable truths should be self-evident. That no matter whether you vote for tit or tat, you're still electing a rat. Come on, let's continue. Oh, come on.
Exceptions were John Adams and John Quincy Adams. Jefferson thought slavery was a bad thing and that slaves would eventually be freed, but he wanted freed slaves sent back to Africa.
We're going to build a wall. It's going to be beautiful. How a thing begins. Well, let's just hopefully there's no 40% of Manhattans today with slaves, but the way the the trafficking is going, who knows how many slaves there are out there in the world.
There's a quotation from him on the wall of the Jefferson Memorial that goes like this: "Nothing is more certainly written in the book of fate than that these people are to be free." Well, in the original, Jefferson didn't stop there. adding, nor is it less certain that the two races equally free cannot live in the same government. That part has been conveniently forgotten.
Hold on. Let's repeat what he just said. Listen up.
Adding, nor is it less certain that the two races equally free cannot live in the same government. That part has been conveniently forgotten.
I don't know what world this clown's living in. It hasn't been forgotten. It just hasn't been put out there in your face. So when you see all these disproportionate number of melanated people getting messed up in this society, it's not because they're lazy. It's not because they're bad people. No, it's because in the society itself, it's not put together for them. You can say what you want about the people in Mexico. You can say what you want about the people in Haiti. You can say what you want about the people in Jamaica. You can say what you want about the people in the New South Africa. But until these people have a government that was designed and tailor-made for their personal benefit, then all you're doing is victim shaming and really propping up the people who are bringing the pain instead of doing anything conducive to facilitate a just society. Because all those societies that I just mentioned, not one of those governments that came into being with the thought of let's be a nurturing force for these melanated people. No, let's just be a controlling force. We got to get the sugar cane out. We got to get this out. We got to ensure that this corporation has this resource. That's what you find in many of our government systems. Let's continue.
He wanted blacks deported and separated from whites so that they would be, and I quote, beyond the reach of mixture. James Madison agreed. He wanted the U.S. government to buy up every slave and deport them. After he served as president, he ran the American Colonization Society.
See, guys and gals, that was your reparation. If you guys hold on, let's listen to what he said right here. Hold on. Hold on.
Beyond the reach of mixture. James Madison agreed. He wanted the U.S. government to buy up every slave and deport them. After
there you go. We could have been one with the land, blah blah blah. But it's not about equality. It's certainly not about justice. It's about power. And as you guys go farther and farther down this rabbit hole, as we see, without a shadow of a doubt, then you can start seeing the victories. That wasn't because of this program or this law. It was in spite of it all. Because they sincerely wanted us dead from the beginning. So when you have those, I guess, future patriots throwing the thugs into the ovens, throwing the bad guys into the ovens, throwing the traitors onto the train. Those of you who are awake today will see, damn it, True was right. He was right. Let's continue.
After he served as president, he ran the American Colonization Society, which was set up to send blacks back to Africa. At the inaugural meeting of the society, Henry Clay explained its purpose, quote, to rid our country of a useless and pernicious, if not dangerous, portion of the population.
What? Did you hear that? Hold on, let's do it one more time, yo. So you see why they fun fucking rap music dysfunctional as fuck.
Back to Africa. At the inaugural meeting of the society, Henry Clay explained its purpose, quote, to rid our country of a useless
Damn, he could be writing in the New York Post today, couldn't he? The thugs in Bronx beat up 60-year-old man and his partner. They're dangerous. They're lazy. They want to rob. All they've been waiting for is to attack, y'all. They never had the power to manhandle us and put us down like that. But when you have a robot made by Boston Dynamics with a laser gun zapped to the top and a true power system, oh my God. Yeah, once the secret's out with zero gain motors, and you basically have a perpetual energy unit. We could have went to the stars. That's all I got to say. And instead, let's hear this awful shit.
Some of the most famous early Americans were not just members of the colonization society, they were officers. Besides Madison, there were Andrew Jackson, Daniel Webster, Stephen Douglas, William Seward, Francis Scott Key, Winfield Scott, and John Marshall.
Hold on.
Americans were not just members of the colonization society, they were officers. Besides Madison, there were Andrew Jackson, Daniel Webster, Stephen Douglas, William Seward, Francis Scott Key, Winfield Scott, and John Marshall. James Monroe worked so hard to help freed American slaves leave the country and establish Liberia that grateful Liberians named their capital Monrovia in his memory. The founders wanted blacks out and whites in. After the U.S. Constitution was ratified, the very first United States Congress had to decide who could be an American. They passed a law that said only, quote, free white persons could be citizens of the new country. Blacks couldn't be citizens even if they had been living.
He's talking about the native people who lived in the United States, the continental U.S., for generations. So the reality is they know who you are. They want your land. Just like, the Jews of the day. Mm-hmm. These are Elizabeth Warren types that actually did put in the time. Not put in the time, but my God, my mind is just there's just so much crap going on, guys. If you guys would only know the half of it. Let me just slow down. For those who don't know, who are new to the show, we talk about issues here that affect everybody in the now and in the future. Some of our topics will not make sense to you now. You're like, oh my God, what the hell is this dude talking about? But a few months from now, you'll be like, holy shit, this is what he's talking about. Sister Janice over there suffering. YouTube keeps deleting her posts. Sister Sandra, the rest of us, Brother A1, to all the new listeners, we have been doing this stuff for basically 2 years. And we have come a tremendously long way. You see, hold on. I want to show you guys something. This is why they hate, or they not hate, because that would imply that they're emotionally invested. At this point in time, it's not so much emotional investment as much as just ensuring the top. Basically, people just bow down. But this is the reason why this channel isn't promoted like other channels, okay? For one, we don't glorify dysfunction here. For two, we actually get real results. Now look at this real quick. And then we're going to get back to this. Like Bubba said, black hating folks in power. Okay. Look at this latest. Oh my God. Look at this latest poll question. Is it a good idea for gay / racist / trans / bi couples to adopt straight people's children? Out of the people surveyed, 0% said yes, strongly agrees with that. That's a good idea. 1% says yes, somewhat agrees. 6% says not my concern. 5% says no, somewhat disagrees. But 88% of the people surveyed says no, strongly disagree that gay, trans, bi couples should adopt straight children. All right, let's go on to another question. Should the United States government seize control of all offshore tax sheltering accounts and trust funds? I should put funds there. And use the money in them to pay for reparations for slavery? Hold on, let's read more. And community investments? 80% says yes. 9% says no. Not my concern. But 11% says no. 80% says yes. 11% says no. Who do you think the 11% are, people? The 11% are the people who have offshore trust funds. You see, Jesus, here we go, right here. Is the earth round or flat? 69% survey said it's round. 31% says it's flat. All right. Auto one. Thank you, brother. Thank you for watching and being part of the show. Now, like I said, last year was the year of changing our perspectives. We achieved, I mean, this is a very big number. 17 million watch time minutes. That's a pretty decent, fair. That's keeping a lot of people's interest, especially for a show with a budget of, wait for it, damn near $0. Wardrobe fund, non-existent. Travel fund, not yet created. Office personnel, secretaries, mailroom clerk. No, we're an office of one. But we still get the results because we're not bound by all the rhythm and row. We're not bound by all the foolishness. We have a very, very simple, elegant platform. It is to share truthful information however we can. Because I believe in Sister Janice. I believe in Brother Al. I believe in Brother Marty. I believe in the viewers and the chatters. I believe you all deserve a shot at true justice and righteousness. But it requires you willing to be brave enough to look the wolf in their eyes and say no more. You will not devour me nor mine. See, there's all kinds of prey out there, y'all. But it's easy to prey on those who don't fight. Let's continue.
It took an amendment to the Constitution in 1868 for blacks to become citizens. And American Indians didn't finally become U.S. citizens until 1924. From colonial times on, there was strong opposition to mixed-race marriage. Massachusetts prohibited miscegenation from 1705 to 1843 and repealed the ban only because people thought it wasn't needed. They thought the idea of mixing was so repellent that no one would do it, even if it were illegal.
You gotta look at dude's face. I'm sorry, man. I just look at dude and I'm just thinking, how many of his girlfriends were chilling with a brother and been like, in all these years, I could have had a V8. I settled for this Vienna sausage time and time again. Yes, Sister Hinton, Indians, 1942. Don't forget, this guy who's talking really is not your friend. I just want to let you all know that. But he speaks truth, or at least the truth that he perceives is true. But he's saying these facts to incite the young white person to be like, fuck them black people. That's the ultimate goal. If you listen closely, the ultimate goal is young white man, young white woman, fuck the black people. You used to own these motherfuckers. Let's get back to business. Let's make America hate yet again. Let's continue.
Of the 50 United States, 44 at one time had laws prohibiting interracial marriage. White people did not want blacks to vote. In 1855, there were 31 states in the Union, but blacks could vote only in 4. All of them were in New England. And together they had only 4% of the total black population of the country. The federal government made sure that blacks couldn't vote in the territories. When Oregon joined the Union in 1859, its constitution stated that no black person could come live in or even visit the state. But Abraham Lincoln, the great emancipator, didn't he believe in
peace and power? Thank you, Brother K Jr. And legendary. Welcome to the show. Peace and power. Look at this. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. If you do not want to have reparations in this state of the game, if you don't understand reparations more than just putting a couple of dollars in a thug's pocket. No. Reparation is saying, look, I'm a decent human being. I realize what this country did to these people is intolerable, and I want to make amends. I am a decent human being, and I support reparation. Only indecent, cruel human beings who have nothing but hate in their heart will suggest that reparations for black folks in the United States of America is a bad idea. Listen to this man that I'm playing. Listen to his words. And a lot of the more cruder points I will replay so that it really sinks in for you. And he's talking about the origins of the United States, not something that happened during Jim Crow, or we're talking about the origins. Let's continue.
racial equality? No. During the Lincoln-Douglas debates, he said this: I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of making voters or jurors out of Negroes, nor of qualifying them to hold office, nor to intermarry with white people. There is a physical difference between the white and black races, which I believe will forever forbid the two races living together on terms of social and political equality.
Now, the two differences he's talking about is the difference that you'll see between a Subway footlong and a 6-inch sandwich. That's the difference. Now, a lot of these rosy cheek fellers, they're not in the footlong club. This is what Dr. Francis Welsing was trying to educate us on. The hoes, the balls. There's a sexual component, man. A lot of these slaves weren't out there fucking hoeing the fucking rows. A lot of those slaves were being fucked on. Because a lot of these sexually perverted Caucasian males quite literally wanted the cake and fuck it too. Not eat the cake, they want to fuck the cake. And you got this old rosy cheek ass Lincoln here. And hold on, I want to play it again. I want to play it again so you guys really see what he's trying to set up. He chose this quote for propagandistic reasons, and we're picking it apart because this is what we do.
In racial equality? No. During the Lincoln-Douglas debates, he said this: I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of making voters or jurors out of Negroes, nor of qualifying them to hold office.
So when you hear all those black conservative Republicans talking about Lincoln freed the slaves, blah, 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 you better understand the same spirit that's getting them to show horn that bullshit nowadays is the same spirit that was manipulating him. It's a spirit of hate. Unless you're pro reparations, unless you're pro making an economic situation better for black folks in the United States of America, you're quite literally rolling with the spirit of unrighteousness and evil. Just that simple. Let's play this uninterrupted. I'm going to restart it right here where, this reminds me of people kissing Tim Wise's hand, but whatever.
No. During the Lincoln-Douglas debates, he said this: I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of making voters or jurors out of Negroes, nor of qualifying them to hold office, nor to intermarry with white people. There is a physical difference between the white and black races, which I believe will forever forbid the two races living together on terms of social and political equality. Lincoln agreed with Jefferson. He wanted to free the slaves and then deport them.
Free the slaves and deport them. But then who would actually pick your cotton? Who would do your work? See, that's why we have this quasi social loose construct, meaning that, I walk up to you, Brother King. Hey, man, what do you do for a living, bro? What do you do for a job, man? And you're all like, well, I'm a exec represent for a big bank. I'm a mutual fund manager. Oh, then I'll be like, oh, shit, man, Brother King got paid. Versus, Brother King, what do you do for work? I don't work. I'm homeless. Oh, I see, bro. Oh, well, we got to watch him. Make sure he don't steal our silverware. That's what that old funny shit's about. It's not about what your labors get you. It's about what does your labor achieve. The labor of slaves, the labor of disinherited, dispossessed peoples built this nation. Therefore, what it built should go to those who survived the injustice, who has survived the system for all these generations, needs reparations. If you want it to be righted. If you don't, well, then guess what? When the karmic debt, truly that karmic tsunami comes as swinging, don't say that you have not been warned. I warn the people all the time. Now I'm warning the wealthy. I'm warning the rich. I'm warning the spiritual and physically powerful right now as we speak today. As I talk right now to you today, I'm warning those empowered today. If reparations are not given, you and your seed will have the full karmatic debt that you will have to pay in blood and tear, in sorrow and in pain. You can't avoid this. And this is the beautiful part. You can't avoid this. By releasing the talismans that you acquired over the centuries, and by re-inheriting the land back to the rightful owners. Go back to your homeland with knowledge that you righted a wrong. And the karmatic debt that would be placed on you and your kin would be removed. The ones who resist, they will have to accept all of that debt. Now let's continue.
In 1862, Lincoln had the Civil War on his hands, but he was so worried about what to do with free blacks that he named a commissioner on immigration and sent him off to look for countries that would take in the blacks he wanted to be rid of. He also sent a message to Congress calling for free blacks to be deported. U.S. presidents usually say only bland, non-controversial things. Well, this is what some of them said about race. James Garfield wrote, "I have a strong feeling of repugnance when I think of the Negro being made our political equal, and I would be so glad if they could be colonized, sent to heaven, or got rid of in any decent way."
Bam! That's why you better listen up. You have all better listen up to this.
Repugnance when I think of the Negro being made our political equal, and I would be so glad if they could be colonized, sent to heaven, or got rid of in any decent way.
I would be glad if they could be colonized, sent to heaven, or gotten rid of in any decent way. Choo choo. I'm telling you, folks, you guys think this is such a joke? Oh, that would never happen. True, they love us. They're so benevolent. Oh, true. If you only knew the love. Please. I know the hatred of the heart. I know the pain of being an individual who knows that you got what you got because your people stole from others and have the audacity to call the ones you steal from criminals. Gotten rid of in any decent way. Train pulls into the oven. Oven ashes out the contents. The boxcar is emptied, ready to be refilled. Clean and handy, fully automated. All we need are Judas goats to coach people onto the trains. Hold on, let's continue.
Theodore Roosevelt wrote that he had, quote, not been able to think out any solution to the terrible problem offered by the presence of the Negro on this continent. As for Indians, he said, quote, I don't go so far as to think that the only good Indians are the dead Indians, but I believe 9 out of 10 are, and I shouldn't inquire too closely into the health of the 10th. This continent, as, quote, not been able to think out any solution to the terrible problem offered by the presence of the Negro on this continent. As for Indians, he said, quote, I don't go so far as to think that the only good Indians are the dead Indians, but I believe 9 out of 10 are, and I shouldn't inquire too closely into the health of the 10th.
No, for the 10th one, he'll just send them a blanket. You know how the blanket gag went, right? Yeah. The only thing they respect is this right here. That's all they respect. They don't respect you. No, you're a chump. In many instances, you're worse than a chump. You're a terrible problem. Listen to what Theodore Roosevelt. You know, Alvin and the Chipmunks had a Theodore in it, who also had glasses. Hold on, I think I went too far back.
Quote, not been able to think out any solution to the terrible problem offered by the presence of the Negro on this continent.
Hold on.
Solution to the terrible problem offered by the presence of the Negro on this continent. As for Indians, he said, quote, I don't go so far as to think that the only good Indians are the dead Indians, but I believe 9 out of 10 are, and I shouldn't inquire too closely into the health of the 10th.
I guess that's supposed to be his way of making it damn funny. But these are human beings we're talking about. Maybe not so much the ones writing this horrible, horrible stuff. And once again, this is what Bubba Dick Gregory was saying about reading, in many ways, is a violation. He got these dirty, filthy thoughts from bigoted attitudes and men that came before him, who got them from men that came before him, who got it from men that came before him. You see, this is how you know the system's doing exactly what you want. Throughout this whole little presentation, the main thing is no mixing. You better not mix. You better not intermingle. As long as you do that, as long as you're a black man advocating that, you're going to get paid. And if you're a white boy advocating, you're going to get paid. That's just the way it goes, y'all. There's not one leader out there in any of this whole arena talking about, yeah, everyone come together, let's fuck each other and end racism. Nope, not one. You know reason why? Because there's no money in it. There's no money in the truth. There's only money in a little bit of that truth just to get the mind all think, well, what's next? Ooh, I've seen the game being played by the best. Here's the real truth, kiddos. Either you stop looking for a fucking leader and you start thinking for yourself, or you invest in Vaseline. Because the reaming is about to come down. For the past 2 years, I've been like Chicken Little. The sky is falling, y'all. Oh, shut up, True. The sky is falling. But no one has been hearing it. So now the warning's been out. Now it's time for me to go and build a chicken coop. And those chickens who want to survive, you're more than welcome on the hub. Those chickens who want to continue to be out here in the world and compete against each other for artificially low resources, enjoy. But let's continue this and we'll wrap this up here in a minute.
William Howard Taft once told a group of black college students, "Your race is adapted to be a race of farmers. First, last, is adapted to be a race of farmers. First, last, and for all times." Warren Harding thought the races would always be separate. Quote, "This is not a question of social equality, but a question of recognizing a fundamental, eternal, inescapable difference." Harry Truman wrote, "I am strongly of the opinion that Negroes ought to be in Africa, yellow men in Asia, and white men in Europe and America." He also referred to the black servants in the White House as, quote, "an army of coons."
Did you hear what this do, folks? Did you listen again?
As, quote, "an army of coons."
That's Mr. Truman, which by even their standards, he was a slow country fuck. All right. I'm trying to get the correct words to ask my brothers and sisters. To the black conservative, to the black liberal, please, can you brothers and sisters come together so that we can have a political organization where you can talk about your ideologies after we have elections that get somebody in there to get reparations. And if you're not about reparations, just let us know. Just say straight up, I am not about reparations. I think that we all got a fair shot at this, and therefore reparations aren't needed. So we know exactly where you're coming from. Because once again, yeah, if you want the United States, the Western world, whatever, to continue, then you really want reparations to be paid. If you don't want this thing to continue, then go ahead, deny reparations. The wealthy will go ahead and retreat back to their true homelands. And America will be slaughtered on the altar of ununification. And she will be carved up into different regions and governed by different folks. Let's continue. This is truly sad.
Dwight Eisenhower told Supreme Court Justice Earl Warren he understood why Southerners wanted segregated schools. They didn't want, quote, their sweet little girls to sit in schools alongside some big black box. He said that what he regretted most about his 8 years as president was sending federal troops to Little Rock, Arkansas to enforce school integration. It's not until John Kennedy, elected in 1960, that we have a president with views on race that just...
Now, this is why you see, John Kennedy in so many plates. He treated us like we were gum on the bottom of his shoe. Now, this is so sad. This just lets you know just how beat down psychologically people was. I mean, just because he's obviously not a hater. And he gets killed for that. I mean, that and many other things, but that's why he was popped. He threatened the money and the moral fabric of hate. He threatened the money or the moral fabric of hate. You're going to have a bad day.
Might be considered acceptable today. Immoral to base any decision on race. As I think I've made clear, this is a very recent way of thinking.
Yeah. So we can go back to the old way of thinking. We can have the America that we want. No, this is what dude just said. Listen to him. I'll let him say this part. Listen. Oh, hater.
As I think I've made clear, this is a very recent way of thinking. From colonial times right up through the mid-20th century, virtually all white people believed race was an essential part of the American identity.
That means you're not American unless you're white.
They understood that people of different races are different and build different kinds of societies. They thought only Europeans would make the United States the kind of country that they would want to pass on to their children. So there are two views. There is the consensus on race that lasted for more than 300 years.
The one that he probably wants everyone to subscribe to. Because if not, he wouldn't. You can see. Let's look in these eyes, man. Look at those little beady ass eyes. Hold on. I want you to see. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this right. Hold on. I don't want to give you guys nightmares. Ooh, he looks like a gray alien right there, don't they? Hold on. Oh man, I didn't. Hey, there might be something to this making it blurry. And then making it. I am the emperor. Look at his eyes. Now let's play this.
And there's today's view that races are perfectly equal and interchangeable, and that American can become Black, Hispanic, Asian, Muslim, Hindu, anything at all. And not only will it be still America, it'll be better than ever. Well, which view is correct? Just look around. Read the news. I think you'll find the answer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we kind of got the answer in you, homie. Once again, thank you to the confidential informant who sent me that video. I mean, maybe I was reading more into it than the average person. But yeah, I think I know what time it is. They character assassinated our people's image for a reason. For a reason. So when an old boy makes a video like he just made, no one's going to challenge it. No one's going to fight it. Yep, look around. Look at all the thugs. Oh, they're killing everybody up there in Chicago. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Every major city, they be killing. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Really? And it's because every major city isn't basically a gerrymandering effect, meaning that it was forced upon these people to be poor and kind of forced upon these people to live in this certain area. And it's kind of okay for these people to be abused in said area. But nobody wants to hear about that. If they don't do it to their people. But they do. Hold on. I'm going to play this. And this is... hold on. I'm just going to have to do this like this, old school. Hold on. Oh my God, my stuff is media Euro. All right, hold on. These people.
Bonjour, guten Tag, yasu, or hello. This edition we're transmitting direct from the Eurozone, where the stage is set for civil unrest as member states compete in the Euro Division contest. On one side we have the Troika, united together to bail out the banks and balance their side of the ledger, deploying a plethora of new austerity measures that have brought poverty and misery to many EU areas. While on the left, we have the general populace, which has responded to austerity with a chorus of protest. To learn more, we get the latest from the Euro Division contest, commencing with... Kids in the streets with belief in a Molotov cocktail. We defeat these elite policies. The police will not fail, but the euro will. And that's Berlin approves another bailout. By the way, the bill for your war crimes needs to be paid now.
We stand with peace, ya basta. Podemos, we can be free from this EU disaster. Children are famished, people are homeless. We have to protest. Elites call us cows. We call this democratic progress. Austerity here has been just as merciless. Job losses, crop cuts, cuts to public services, water double tax, legal mass amounts, while the rich sip their riches in Swiss bank accounts.
Hey, Malakas, you owe Greece money too. In fact, all of the EU must pay a fee whenever they use the words Europe and democracy, or we're gonna sue. It's all Greek copyright, and the bill is overdue. So we've heard the passionate verbal displays of some of the victims which austerity has encircled. Now, to learn what the judges make of that, we turn to the first arbiter, Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel. That was just terrible. A giant batch of glandular gurgles. You lack talent, vitality, originality, purpose. Angela Merkel, angel of death, Bismarck in this bitch. Queen of the Eurozone, holding all the bargaining chips. What is this shit? Especially you Greeks. Absgeigen, you want another bailout? First, you need to tighten your belts. Sell your islands, privatize the Acropolis, and for Vic's sake, pay your taxes. I've had enough of this. And Spain, it's lame. You make me smirk. Podemos, we can. Yeah, you can. Get back to work. And islands, thanks for trying to display your talent. But the chips are down like the potato famine. Listen up, Europeans. The social contract is dead. We said austerity was temporary, but instead it's your new way of life. So just get used to it now. Cheer up. I know how to run Europe into the ground. Dankeschön, Frau Merkel. We now join this next judge on our panel to share standpoints with us. We welcome the Marxist theorist, adroit critic, Slovene philosopher, and academic Slavoj Žižek.
My God, I have to clap hands at this revolutionary potential. It's sensual, erotic, like a lap dance, in a Freudian kind of way. You know Lacan? Because all it reminds me of the film Batman. That one where the hero arrives to save our rights, but he's actually a cavalry, dressed in armor like a fascist or a feudalist. You know, the Dark Knight. And look how they frame the criminal criminals like he starts to fight, as anarchists like Joker, or as activists like Bane, and so on and so on. And so who is this Bruce Wayne? Mythologically, you know, he is like a new sort of Hades, Greek god of the underworld, lord of the wealthy, and his brother Zeus cheated Europa, a creature. Okay, so the hidden message Hollywood is leaving is clear then. First, people of Europe, you are all cretins. Second, you must just trust your capitalist ruler, even if they look like masked fascists and striding tyrants, because only they can save you from the rising tide of crime and violence and spiraling cycle of anarchy. But if we look behind these stupid masks using psychoanalysis, we see the real criminals and the governments and banks who have declared a disgusting class war on the welfare state. But the people of Europe have seen the wretched stencil imposters and are in the streets saying, fuck you, Batman and Robert.
Hopala Zizek, for that intricate Marxist syllabus, we now cross over dialectically in search of a synthesis to the last judge, a person with influence, presently in charge of the IMF, Madame Christine Lagarde.
Bonjour, les esclaves, ça va?
Oui, très bon.
I love the sex get slaves in this competition. Ooh la la, so much pain and moaning, it's quite eternal. But I think we need to have a little history lesson. In Europe, you call it austerity, but we have another slogan for the IMF. It's known as structural adjustment programs, and we just love to impose them in third world homelands. Check how it goes. We lend for nations money to assist their development, but first some pretty little conditions have to be met. Step 1, privatization, sell all public assets. Next, market liberalization to attract foreign capital, devaluing their currency and safety standards on their borders, and cutting subsidies for basic needs like fuel, food, and water. Once the masses starving and down on their knees, Step 3, watch the riots break out in the streets.
Sounds familiar.
What? You don't like that particular game? Oh, désolé. I didn't hear you ever object to complain. When we did it to others and you had profits to make.
But why subject your own citizens to these strictures and pain?
Because, mon chéri, this is a pyramid scheme. It's part of the plan. At first, we let you live in the dream, but then it's your turn to get real. So now, s'il vous plaît, bend over, relax, and enjoy this austerity.
And that's what it is. You see, you get a chance to live in the so-called dream. But sooner or later, your turn will be reamed. The people who hate melanated folks are the same people who hate poor white folks, same people who hate brown folks, same people who hate red folks, same people who hate yellow folks. They hate us all. And until we understand that we're quite literally in this thing together, and there's more than enough resources to go around, every major 500 corporation, every major rich person you ever known, without artificial resources, without resources being artificially restricted using gatekeepers and whatnot, their services would have no value. Value comes from scarcity. Whenever it really comes to a point, how much water out there is polluted and contaminated, suddenly water would be worth more than gold. As soon as you realize that butterflies flapping their little wings causes weather patterns to happen, you're going to be into ignorance. Sister Janice, I don't understand why they are blocking us. Well, I do understand why. I'm just being almost willfully naive now. I'm willfully naive. But yeah, we know the reason why. Because some of you guys are running around flapping your mouths, blowing your cover. But that's all good, because it's high time that the truth be told. And those of us who don't realize it, we're being played. It's a game. It's a horrible game, but we are being played. And the really sad thing about it, There's going to be a lot of men and women who are going to have to do horrible things for even horrible people to allow a horrible system to continue. I want to give out my condolences to anyone out here who lost anyone they loved yesterday. I can't tell you it's going to get easier, but I will tell you that time is about running out. Before too long, once they really get the AI working, they really get the AI down to where, it can kill with impunity and kill the right people, then that's what I'm thinking. For instance, check this out. Tesla self-driving car kills another person. Tesla's latest autopilot death looks like a prior crash. A Florida man was killed March 1st when his Tesla collided with a tractor. All right. And that was March 16th. Tesla's autopilot was turned on in a deadly crash. Tesla didn't fix autopilot. Come on now. A lot of you people who can't even own a Tesla, don't forget, you guys are not chosen. You're not special. I hate to tell you, you're not. You just happen to be those who, are getting the benefit of being on the so-called oppressing team. And there's a lot of people rolling with the team oppression out there. Now your news pundits, they roll with team oppression. A lot of your athletes and rappers, they roll with team oppression. Because they fortified with this nasty, loathsome, unrighteous things about. So I think that's pretty much it. There's really not, even this scumbag. Look at this scum. But and the only reason why is because this dude right here would call you a nigger to your face if he could get away with it. He would. He wouldn't give two fucks about you. So why, oh my, blackface again? Mars, Philly, New York. I didn't even see this. What? They're trying to bring back like a blackface TV. What? What the? Why are these like transgender blackface people? Dresses. Or are they calling black men a bunch of bitches? I'm not for sure. Because that looked like these two dudes are wearing straight up dresses. Obviously, white dudes, like Oompa Loompa weirdness here. This is sad, man. All the blackface, it ain't about that. Which some people view as racist. And I guess because these guys are gay, they're probably like, no, this ain't racist. This is totally cool. I mean, I guess when it really comes right down to it, I'd much rather these guys dress up like this and do whatever they need to do to each other instead of going out there and harming a young man or woman because of their desires.
Well, it wouldn't be New Year's without the Mummers Parade, but some mummers wearing blackface is stirring up controversy. Hello.
It's not controversy. You ain't gonna do shit. Well, anyhow, let me just end the show on this. Check out Mommers or whatever the hell that is. My computer's all messing up anyway, so I'm done with fighting the computer. This concludes TPIM SR Live for today's date, January 2nd, 2020. Hopefully that this show didn't trigger anybody. Hopefully it didn't trigger any audience. Absolutely. But what it did, what was meant to invoke, is a sense for you to seek out and research for yourself. What I presented to you today, was it true or was it fake? Did those founding fathers have such a disdain for Black folks that they openly wrote these things? And it was true, or is it a lie? Because you know what truth and justice and righteousness is all about. It's written into your heart, to your mind. You keep on playing, no, we just got to go what's written in the Constitution. You're 3/5 of a man, blah, blah, etc., etc. Or we can write a worthy addendum, amendment, whatever you want to call it, and say all human beings are worthy of happiness. They're worthy of dignity and respect until proven in a court of law that they're actual criminals based upon behaviors that they actually did. Not, I was in the car with working man and working man done something crazy, so therefore I got to go to jail too. No, it's all about just peace and power, working man. Didn't mean to throw you under the bus like that. Brother David, peace and power. Welcome to the show. I'm seeing the chat room again. So we got to understand that a lot of this hate ain't new. Sister Janice, welcome back. Peace and power, sister. A lot of this hate is quite old. So with that being said, please live your life of integrity without hate, envy, or greed. And as always, brothers and sisters, let's please, please, please try to be kinder to each other. Peace in our power. Unity in our victory. Dignity in our respect. Liberation. I'm out.